Today I want to show you how to layer 5-color vinyl on a tumbler or cup of your choice. If you're like me, I went into my storage area where I keep most of my crafting supplies, and I happened to come across this tumbler. You know how you'll be out in the store and then you see something you like and you're like, I'm gonna make something with that. I'm famous for doing that. I have so much stuff in my crafting supplies that I haven't even touched. And like this little tumbler right here, it's like, I think it's a 16-ounce double wall steel tumbler, black. I bought it from Walmart a couple years ago. Yes, I'm ashamed to say, a couple years ago, and I haven't done anything with it. So I'm trying to clear out some of my inventory. So I said, well, you know what? Let me put some vinyl on this. I don't know if I'm gonna top the vinyl with epoxy. It just depends on how I feel but towards the end of the video. But I wanted to show everybody, for those who don't know, because when I was looking for myself, I could never find any videos that had 5 layers or different layering of vinyl. So we're going to use 651 permanent vinyl to put on this cup, and I picked a little cute gingerbread design that I found off the internet. And I just think it's going to be a nice little gift that you can give somebody for Christmas or keep it for yourself or something. But I just wanted to use this some kind of way. And I think that was the perfect way to utilize this cup, because it's a perfectly good cup. Again, double-walled steel. So let's get started. Oh, but as a side note, this is a long video. Usually I try to keep them under 15 minutes. This will be longer. I'm going to try to fast forward and do all I can when I'm editing it, but I think this is chock full of a lot of good information that you'll need, especially if you're trying to navigate and learn how to do layers. And again, this is how I do it. You might have a simpler way that you go about doing things, but this was the easiest way that I could try to figure it out. And if you've been a subscriber of my channel, you know how I work easier, not harder, if necessary. So let's get started. Okay, things I'm going to use for this video. Here are my permanent vinyl sheets. We're going to be using black. This has kind of got fingerprints and everything on there, so don't pay no attention to that. But anyway, black, a red sheet. I don't know why I grabbed this. I don't know. We're going to have to measure the image on the cup, and then that'll let me know how much of this I need. But I had to keep a lot of spare vinyl sheets just in case, instead of using full 12 by 12. So I've used this for something else. Red, so black and red. Our design's going to use white. It's going to use green. I couldn't find like regular color green, so I have like this lime green, which it doesn't matter. Of course, you're going to pick whatever colors you want, but you'll see that we're going to use all of these colors for the design that I found. And then there's this gold color vinyl. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. And of course, I will include a link to where I get some of these vinyls that I picked up in the store. You see, this is actually Cricut permanent vinyl. This is Oracle 651. They're all permanent vinyl. But I also, and see, this doesn't have the standard backing that the 651 permanent vinyl usually has. This was a purchase that I got from Amazon, and it is permanent vinyl. It just doesn't have that standard grid that you usually see, but it's wonderful. I use it all the time, which is the same place that I got these different colors from. This white, this lime, this gold color. It's like a big mega pack that I bought a long time ago. But I will look it up and put a link to where I purchased it from. But of course, you can feel free to go wherever you get your permanent vinyl from and get these same colors. But to me, when you have something off the wall that you're putting together like this, I wouldn't necessarily have bought this color, but I have it in my inventory for the fact that I bought this mega bundle. So I love the bundle. I'm not trying to sell it to you or anything, but I just personally would recommend it, except it's a little confusing because of the back, but you'll see when we put the colors together, because I'm used to having this grid, regular grid. But you know, once you get used to it, trust me, you'll be happy because it's easy to weed and everything. So anyway, that's our permanent vinyl. Of course, you're going to need your cutting mat. Mine's a little dirty. I call myself trying to wash it with the Blue Dawn soap, but it's still sticky, so I use my mats until they fall apart for the most part. Of course, you're going to need your weeding tool. My machine is my Silhouette Cameo. And you're going to need whatever cup you're going to use. And again, we're going to use this double wall tumbler. Make a cute little design. So first, I want to know what size do I need to make the gingerbread man. I'm going to get my tape measure. And I want it relatively big on here. So I'm thinking it's got a hat on, and you'll see it in a minute when I go to the computer. It has a hat on and little legs holding the candy cane. So I'm going to measure it. Usually when I do tumblers, full-size tumblers, I go down to 5. But because this is a little 16-ounce cup, I don't want to go all the way to the top. We're going to make our design, well, I'll say 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 height. And I think 4 across. That might be a little bit too much. So we'll toggle between, I got all kinds of crap on my stuff. We'll toggle between 3 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, maybe 4 by 4.25. I think that'll look good. And so that'll fill out the front part, or whichever, you know, I'll take the lid off. That'll fill out this. And if I want to put maybe Merry Christmas on the back or somebody's name, whatever you want to do. But for this video, we're just going to do the front part. But I don't know what I'm going to do with the back yet. Because, you know, the purpose of it is not to show you how to make a tumbler. The purpose of the video is to show you how to layer. It's just going to be detailed. So that's pretty much what you need to get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my file folders. And I picked out the image. I just randomly looked for Gingerbread Man on Google. Nothing spectacular when I put it in. I just looked through. You see I have a whole bunch of different ones that I looked at. And I came and decided that this cute little guy right here was the one I wanted to work with. Click off of there. It's the one I chose. And I'm going to click it and I'm going to make it so it's more workable. So I'm doing a 5 by 5 to size it down so we can look at it. If you look at the design, it has some shading in it, but that's okay because we're going to eliminate all that because I don't know how to do vinyl with shading. I don't know if anybody does for that matter, but because it's trying to give it a little 3D look, but we're going to tone that down and make them one solid color. And our 5 colors is the black, the red, the white, the brown, and the green. Black, red, white, brown, green. I didn't do this different color blue button. I'm just going to make the buttons green like that. 2 buttons green. I'm not going into a 6th color because then it's going to be the same process, but we're not going to do all that. So for this demo, but if you do want to choose to do a 6th color, you can still use this same process that I'll show you in a few minutes. So what the first step we're going to do, we want to edit this or to trace it so that way it's able to cut, because we can't cut it in the form that I just took it off of the Google. This is a PNG file, not JPEG. If it was JPEG, it would have like a white surrounding around there, which would be fine too, but I just rather, when I use my Silhouette Studio software, I just do JPEGs. That way it's a transparent background taking it in. So I'll always first go to the JPEG. So I'm going to go to my trace function over here, select trace area, and I'm going to click and drag my mouse. I'm hitting down the left key, the left clicker on the mouse, and I'm going to let it go. Now this is where I was saying that the shading on the reds, where they tried to have that little 3D effect. See, if we were to cut this now, this would be black and that little spot of red would show. That wouldn't make a bad design, but I want the whole red cap, the whole red candy cane right here. See, I want the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is go over here to my trace box, and I'm going to play with the threshold. Right now it's showing 45%. That's like the automatic. I'm just going to click down, and it went to 22%. And see, that got rid of that shading on all the red things. There wasn't nothing else on any of the other colors, just that red. So I clicked the threshold, went down to a 22%. That made it so it's nice, clean, and crisp. I'm gonna hit my trace button. I'm clicking the design, and I'm gonna pull the original over to the side. And we're left with the outline, the traced outline, our cutting lines. I'm clicking into this. I'm hitting, where the black would be, selecting this, going to my little color palette. I'm gonna hit black, and there's our outline of the original drawing. So technically, if you just want the outline, we're done. We could go to cut this out right now and be fine with it. Different people do different things with just outline drawing. You can bling the inside, put glitter on the individual colors if you want to, and work with it that way. But again, this is a layering video, so we're going to continue. I'm going to leave my little cutie pie over here because we want to see the original colors, because now what we're getting ready to do is isolate each of these sections in order to color it in. So I'm coming back to my design, and I'm going to click in the black so that way it selects it, the whole thing. I'm going to right click my mouse and go down to release compound path. See, everything turned in black. This black behind here turns into the background of everything, which is good because this whole thing is outlined in black, the original. So we're going to keep this all black. We're going to click out of it, click back in, and you see when I click back in, it's kind of separating everything. If you want to see another example of how I'm, separating these colors, I have a previous video that I recorded adding image colors back into design with Silhouette. So this is my first video doing this type of adding colors, if you want to reference that after you look at this one. So anyway, let's just say we want to fill in all the reds first, because we're going to have to fill this in for 5 colors. So I'm going to click where my first red is. I'm hitting down the shift key. Now I'm holding the shift key, and I'm going to go to where the other reds are. So here's a red, here's a red, and the red's down here. So with holding the shift key, I was able to select that box, that, and that. I can let the shift key go now because the ones that we just isolated is selected, and I'm going to go to my color palette. There's my reds. So next, let's do the white. I'm going to click out of it so the reds aren't selected anymore. And I'm going to click the first box that's going to be white. Press and hold my shift key down while I select the other white items. this one, this one, this one. We have the little hand squiggly lines. The leg squiggly lines are white. And that's it. So now I'm released my shift key. I'm going to the white color palette. So we've covered that. We want the buttons to be green. So I just hit that first green button where the green is supposed to be. I'm hitting my shift key. I'm going to the second green button. I'm still holding the shift key. I click that. I'm release the shift key. And what did I say? I had like a lime color. We'll just do it like that. Okay. Now, the browns or gold or whatever, I'm clicking in where the gold would be. I'm pressing my shift key down. I'm going to where the gold is for the arms. This right here. The little feet. That should be everything. I release the shift key and there. So see, I've now isolated those colors. I'm clicking out because if you don't click out every time you change a color, you might go to color and see how I'm changing the color, because that's the last thing that I clicked and I didn't click out. Actually, some of these are kind of cute. But anyway, just so you see, if you don't immediately click off of what you're selecting at the time that you're done selecting it, you could still change the colors of what was previously selected. So I'm going back to my little gold and I'm clicking out of it so it's not selected anymore. Now, the next step, because you think you're done, you think you're finished, but it's not. Okay, if I was to click this here, and if I move it out the way, okay, you see what's left that's showing that's not accounted for. That's why it's got a red mark around there, because it hasn't been isolated. It's the black that goes on the base color. So if you look at your gold, let me get a pointer. If you look at your gold, you still have this eyeball here. You don't have a second eyeball, and you don't have the mouth, and you don't have the buttonholes. See, because when we go to layer, and if we do this as permanent vinyl, if you layer this as it's showing now, it's going to cover on top of the eyeball, this, and the buttonholes, for the simple fact that your layer didn't accommodate for that. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this back in place. I don't know if that's correct. If that's good, I think. Yeah. Okay. It just seems like some of the black left. That's why I don't really like moving it around as much. Matter of fact, it's like when you take it off after you've done all this removing and coloring it in, sometimes when you layer it back, it doesn't go exactly on. So what I'm going to do is do the back button before I start. Okay, see, there is good. I just moved it just so you could see, you know, how we have to isolate the black or take the black out from, like, cookie cutter it out of the gold. But I don't like to move it around too much, because sometimes when you tend to put it back in and it shifts for some reason. Don't ask me why. So I just want to do that for that purpose. I'm not moving it anymore, because then Lord knows it'll be all crazy looking. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the gold. I'm holding down the shift key. I'm going to pick the black eye, the black mouth, the black buttonhole, and the buttonhole. So we have the gold, total gold, and the ones that's missing. This is the black, the mouth, the buttonhole, the buttonhole. Okay, so I don't have to, I'm done isolating, so I'll release the shift key. I'm going over here to my modify panel, and I'm going to hit subtract all. And then, oh, okay, that was quick. Yeah, I'm hitting subtract all. So that way And I'm going to move it again. I'm going to unclick it, and I'm just going to move it a tad so you can see that now we have both eyes, the mouth, and the buttonholes. Let's see if it goes back to normal. Okay, it did that time. Okay. We have both eyes, the mouth, and the buttonhole on the gold now. So I'm just going to click in the black again, and I'm just going to hit delete. Because now I just want to get rid of that unaccounted for black. There. See? So now we're perfectly fine. If I was to move the black that's behind it, it's just going to be an outline of everything with no, but I'm scared to move it again because I don't want it to go out of whack. Okay, I'm going to move it just so you can see it, and then if we put it back and it goes out of whack, I'm just going to do the back button. So I'm clicking the black, see? And see how it's one piece? That's going to be our base background. Okay, it went back fine. Good, good. Okay, so now we're finished. Looks pretty much the same. And that's going to be our little cutie pie. So I'm going to move the original out, or you could delete it or what have you. Now, we're ready to cut. So if you recall, we measured it on our cup. As this stands now, matter of fact, I'm going to select this entire thing so that we know it's not going to move anymore. I'm going to right click and I'm going to group the whole thing together. So that way we can move it around and we click off of it and click and it's all together. That makes me really paranoid the way it shifts like that. So we said maybe 375 width and the height was 425. Okay, so I'm going to the width. I'm gonna say 4, and the height 4.25. So that's our cutting mat surface. And then now we've grouped this. We don't have to be all super careful about it. We're gonna shrink this down to be able to fit within that parameter. Okay. We want to make sure I don't like to get too close to the cutting edge. So, boom. Let's see. I think that fits pretty much. Gives it good spacing. So then with that being said, that makes our actual design ending up coming to, this is 3.712 height. So I said 425 and 3.713 width. So technically we could make it, you see how I pulled it down? So that makes it a 4-inch height and we're still at the 3.713 width. So that still makes it good. And that's what we needed. Okay, but we're still close. Even though it's 425, I could scoot it up some, but now see, it's not even working. Maybe if well, either way, we're getting ready to change the cutting space because this is the trick right here to how I layer all these different colors I'm about to show you right now. So we have our width and height. What I'm going to do is make it even higher because I want to put these little cutting guides in here. So the width, we're going to keep it the same. The height, I'm going to make it 5 because I need a little extra space up here at the top. I'm going to bring this down as far, okay, that's going past the cutting line. So right here is good. It's still within our parameters. We have a little bit of space up here. What I'm going to do is make a box. See, I want to make the color of the box something different than what's here. So let's just say we're going to make it this color blue. Okay. I'm going to click my arrow and select this box. I'm going to go to Object, and you could do a copy and paste. I say duplicate right, but I could do the copy and paste, it don't matter. But duplicate right kind of keeps it in the same line. Okay. Well, let me put it right here. So, we're going to use these boxes in order to help us layer this entire design. Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to cut. I wanted to point this out about when you're cutting your layers, you want to make sure that you have the correct layer selected, the correct color. One important thing to say, and I can't stress this enough, I practiced this before I did this video and I completely messed it up because I forgot this main point that I'm getting ready to tell you. And yes, I'm dramatic. When you layer permanent vinyl, if you decide to do it this way that I'm showing you with the guide boxes and everything, it's very important you cut the layers from the top layer and you end in with the bottom layer. So in this case, with this gingerbread man, our layers are not supposed to be piled on top of each other. All these different colors are just going to be on top of the main layer, which is the black. So with that being said, the black layer is going to be the last layer that we are going to cut out. We can cut the red whenever. We can cut the white, the gold, the green in any order because they're not supposed to touch. But that black layer is going to be the last layer that we're going to lay because that's going to be the base layer that everything else is going to be put on, and we're going from the top to the bottom. I can't stress that enough. You can do it where the black layer, the base layer is the first thing that you lay down. But to me, that gets too complicated. And again, I try to do the easiest way possible. And this is what Shayla's showing you, Trey Desmo, whatever, Auntie Shay, whatever you want to call me. That is what I'm telling you, from the top to the bottom. So let's get started with actually cutting the layers and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, in an effort to save time, I have pre-cut my colors out. They're all 4 wide, 5 height. So here's the white. Well, it's this color. It's a matte white. Here's the white, but it has that weird background. So I had to actually take my ruler and measure it manually instead of trying to go through those squares. So here's my white. I always get stuff on this thing, I swear. Here's my black. The green button. I used the whole sheet because I didn't feel like going into confusion just trying to cut the base, the guide box down on the Cameo. Here's my red. Here's my gold, and here is my 4x5 transfer tape. So we're going to cut out each color, ending with the black. But I'm going to cut out, let's just start, say we're going to start with the gold body. And then next we're going to do the red. So I'm not going to go through this in regular time. I'm going to speed this up because I'm sure you know what cutting software looks like. And cutting on the mat, but I will stress this last point before I start, that again you want to make sure before you cut out your color that you want whatever color you did that guide box. Ours was blue for this example. You want the blue selected, and since we're starting with the red, I'm going to select the red color, so that way it's only going to do the guide box and the red with the candy cane and everything, and that's going to be our first layer. So loading it up. Camera might get in the way. Let me push it back some. Okay, here we go. Okay, weeding it. There's our first layer. Okay. Let's do the gold. Before I start, I'm going to deselect the red. I'm going to leave the blue guide boxes. And I'm going to select the gold/brown. Now we're ready for our first layer here. I want to get you real close so you can see what I'm about to do. Okay. There's our first layer, or our second layer rather, but we're going to now match the guide boxes with these boxes. Everything should fall into place. Main word on should. I'm going to place it directly. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to make the camera so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can. Okay. I'm placing it on top. Carefully. I want them to match as exact as I can make them. See? My mat might be messing me up a little bit, but... And see the guide boxes. Can't really see them anymore because I got them directly on top of the gold. Oh, see, got a little transfer tape sticking issue, but trying to take my time. No rush. Okay, so now we have our first two layers. There's the back with the gold that's underneath. I'm gonna get my transfer tape and stick it on there. So, see, there's our first two layers. Now, let's do the green. So you want to make sure, go to the computer, that you deselect the gold. You're leaving your guide box, the blue, and you're selecting the green. So let me waste all this green to cut those two little circles. Here we go. Matching the boxes. Let's see. Okay. Okay, making a mess. All right, what we have so far: 3 colors: red, gold, green. The thicker that the guide boxes get, where you keep adding the layers, you're going to try to have to help it come off onto the transfer tape, because right now we got 3 layers of vinyl just under the guide boxes. So far so good. Next is white. Here we go. Okay. Very careful with it. The more layers you do, the trickier it gets. But so far so good. So let's see. White. Okay, let it fall. Smooth it out. Okay, show you in a minute. See if we have to help anything out. Oh, the white didn't stick over here. Here's these guide boxes that are super duper thick, so I'm just going to lift them a little bit. We got one more color. Show you in a second. Okay. That's what we're looking like so far. Cute. And on a side note, real quick, if you put this on a black cup, like we were getting ready to, technically, I don't have to do anything else. I don't need to let the black layer, because the black layer serves as the cup, if that makes sense. Seeing as how we have a black background, I could put it on just like this and be done with it, because the black's going to come through like that is the background, since I'm putting on the black surface. But we're going to still go through the black back layer. But really, I don't have to. So, see, you just got to think about what you're doing when you're doing these projects. I wanted to do a 5-layer color, so really I can throw in, make that background a blue colors. That way I won't have to waste the black vinyl, since I'm doing it on a black cup. I'm talking myself through it because I kind of want to go ahead and change the vinyl color, because I'm going to be getting ready to do this black on here on the black on black cup. But I'm going to leave it alone, because I did pick these colors, and but I just decided I was going to put it on a blue and brown cup. So that's why I did this. But we're going to go ahead and do the 5th layer with the black vinyl. But yes, technically we could be done. But since we're here and I enjoy talking to you guys so much, we're going to continue. So, our final layer, computer, deselect the white. We're going to select our base layer, the black. You know, and I'm saying that could have did that green for real. But okay, anyway, we're going to deselect select the black, leave the blue, do our cutting. base layer. One more. There. Careful. Okay. We don't care about the guide boxes now because we're done with them. So all we care now is getting this entire base layer to lift up, because everything is on top of that. See? My lighting stinks. Let's move our cutting board out the way. Get my tape. Lay it down. Shiny side up. Now, you can't tell me that it's not cute. This is our 5 layer. I have some bubbles. The bubbles will subside in a day or so on their own. Or another tip you can do is get like a blow dryer when you get ready to place it on your cup. But for the most part, I'm happy. Everything laid like they were supposed to. The lines are good. Those guidelines are, I'm using bad English, the guidelines are a game changer. Seriously, I love them. 5 colors. We could have even went as far and made the second button color different if you wanted to. We still do the same process with the guides boxes and lay them, and we could have. I didn't want to. So that is our demo. If you'd like to see it on the cup, I can do that real quick for you. Let's grab my little cup thing, little cheap thing I bought from Amazon. I could have made this myself or had my husband make it, but okay. Prep cup, I could have got alcohol and did all that, but here we go. We already got rid of the guide boxes. Make sure it's straight. Looks good to me. Lay it on. Give it a good scrape. Let's see. So now you see what I'm talking about, because I did that black layer as the base layer and our cup is black. You really can't see the black layer. You can. It makes it give it a good little outline. I don't know if my picture, you know, a little shiny outline. So I'm not mad that we did that or that I did it. I'm not mad at it because I think that's cute too, that it just give it a shinier outline than the matte black cup. So let's see if you get a good look at it. I do have air bubbles, and that tends to happen with layering. You can try to push them out, or you can get your little pinprick hole, or your little scraper or whatever, and poke a hole in different spots, a slight teeny hole, and work the air bubble out. But you don't have to, because let it sit and they will go out by themselves. So I'd say maybe a couple days, and you go back to it and they'll be flat 9 times out of 10. As far as I can tell that I've done these, they went back and flattened out themselves. Or if you decide to put a layer of epoxy on here, that's gonna make the air bubbles also flatten out, as far as, because you're putting a smooth epoxy surface on there, it's gonna make it so, like when you apply epoxy to something, it smooths everything out. It's also gonna smooth over the air bubbles. So if I decide to epoxy this cup, then that would be a way that I would get rid of the air bubbles too. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not, honestly. I flatten out some of that vinyl right there. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I might just leave it like this, and I'm gonna let the vinyl sit on there for a couple days and let it flatten out itself. And now that I'm finished the cup, I think I might add like a Merry Christmas across it. Maybe some glitter in the epoxy, a little bit of glitter, and let it be some red glitter, and let the red glitter be with the black and the red Merry Christmas. Maybe a red Merry and a green Christmas. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I have to get my Christmas inventory together, so I'll figure it out before then. But that's it, guys. This is a 5-layer. Well, it looks like 4 because of the black, but it's a 5-layer color design. If you have any questions, please leave me a message in the YouTube and I'll try my best to answer it. Or you can send me a message in Crafty Things by Che on Etsy, or Trey Desmo on Etsy. And either way, I'll get your message. So if you have specific questions about what you've seen, or if you want to leave a question, comment, or a suggestion, I welcome everything, because I'm like you, I'm learning too. You know, I'm not an expert, don't claim to be. I could just show you the best way that I learned, and hope that you pick it up. So I've enjoyed you today, and I will see you again soon.